Natasha, being depressed and physically ill, decides to get prepared for confession and to receive the Eucharist. She goes to church with her family friend. She goes there every day and she prays. She repents sincerely. She craves spiritual healing. But the happy day came, and on that memorable Sunday, when dressed in white muslin, she returned home after communion. For the first time for many months, she felt calm and not oppressed by the thought of the life before her. The story that happened to Natasha, her passion for Anatole Kuragin, breaking off her engagement with Prince Andrew, disloyalty of Anatole, her new scandalous position in society, her shame and repentance, the whole thing deprived Natasha Rostova of her vanity, humiliated her ego, and made her become more conscious, sensible, patient, self-giving, and humble. During the war, the Rostovs, like many other people, have to leave Moscow. Natasha forces her family to let wounded officers travel in their train of vehicles. She orders to unload the carts, to leave a lot of things of the Rostovs at home, to place the wounded in the carts. She does it with all her passion and enthusiasm. She doesn't know yet that her former fiancé, Prince Andrei Bolkonsky, is in one of the vehicles, suffering a mortal wound in the battle. Sonia and the Countess, Natasha's mother, are the first to know this. The ways of God are past finding out, she, the Countess, thought, feeling that the almighty hand, hitherto unseen, was becoming manifest in all that was now taking place. Once Natasha learns that Prince Andrei Bolkonsky is near her, she reaches out to him. God gives her a great chance to redeem her error, to atone her sin. She starts caring for him, and her love for Andrei Bolkonsky now comes not from her ego, but from her conscience. Natasha Rostova and Princess Mary Bolkonskaya become close friends thanks to their joint caring for Prince Andrei Bolkonsky. Death is a great teacher, and Natasha, being a witness of her former fiancé's dying and then his death, again experiences important changes in her soul. When the body, washed and dressed, lay in the coffin on a table, everyone came to take leave of him, and they all wept. Little Nicholas cried because his heart was rent by painful perplexity. The Countess and Sonia cried from pity for Natasha and because he was no more. The old Count cried because he felt that before long he too must take the same terrible step. Natasha and Princess Mary also wept now, but not because of their own personal grief. They wept with a reverent and softening emotion, which had taken possession of their souls at the consciousness of the simple and solemn mystery of death that had been accomplished in their presence. After the death of Prince Andrei Bolkonsky, she tries to rethink of her relationship with him. She talks to him, to an imaginary one, again and again. She doesn't care about her family. She seeks for solitude. But the news of her younger brother's death awakens her to reality with a terrible blow. And now she has to show all her best traits, her personal traits towards her family members. self-giving love. Her persevering and patient love seemed completely to surround the Countess every moment, not explaining or consoling, but recalling her to life. When Pierre Bezukhov comes to see her, she talks to him about Prince Andrei Bolkonsky, about his dying and his spiritual change before death. For Pierre, that change in his friend was very important. Pierre listened to her with lips parted and eyes fixed upon her full of tears. As he listened, he did not think of Prince Andrew, nor of death, nor of what she was telling. He listened to her and felt only pity for her, for what she was suffering now while she was speaking. Evidently, Natasha needed to tell that painful yet joyful tale. She spoke, mingling most trifling details with the intimate secrets of her soul, and it seemed as if she could never finish. Several times over she repeated the same thing twice. Here we can see that Natasha feels that Pierre is the only person in her life who she can absolutely trust her thoughts, sorrows, because he loves her, but his love for her is not selfish. He admires her, and at the same time, he often feels pity for her. I would call Pierre's love Christian, because there is a lot of compassion in his feeling for Natasha. And Natasha, in her turn, feels compassionate love for Pierre Bezukhov. He tells her his story of being in captivity, his wife's death, his friend Platon Karataev, and many other things which happened to him during the war and made a grand mental change in him. It is important to note Natasha's remarkable insight into Pierre's thoughts and feelings. Natasha, leaning on her elbow, the expression of her face constantly changing with the narrative, watched Pierre with an intention that never wandered, evidently herself experiencing all that he described. Not only her look, but her exclamations and the brief questions she put showed Pierre that she understood just what he wished to convey. It was clear that she understood not only what he said, but also what he wished to, but could not express in words. And though Pierre feels jealous of Natasha's past, he says to himself the phrase, "Strange and impossible as such happiness seems, I must do everything that she and I may be man and wife." Natasha Rostova has power of life, as Tolstoy calls it. And this power of life regenerates her again and again after misfortunes. She trusts God, she trusts her life. In the epilogue of the novel, Natasha Rostova is married to Pierre Bezukhov. They have 3 children, and Natasha is not that graceful and poetic girl as she used to be. She changed a lot. She gave up her singing, she doesn't care about her appearance, but her family life is harmonious. And this harmony may seem weird to others, but Natasha and Pierre are absolutely happy with it. Natasha again proves that she is closely connected with Daemon nature. She's her daughter, maybe her sister. She's a matron, skillfully managing her family, her husband. She's jealous of Pierre, but she loves him and admires him. Can a man so important and necessary to society be also my husband? How did this happen? Her mother, the old countess, with her maternal instinct, had realized that all Natasha's outbursts had been due to her need of children and husband. Yes, her singing, her dancing, her delight in grace, her the crazy things she did were just manifestation of her thirst for having a loving husband, her children, her own family. But Natasha is so unfair to Sonia, her friend, who, loving Nicholas Rostov, Natasha's brother, didn't marry him because of her poverty. Sonia saved Natasha so many times. She prevented Natasha's elopement with Anatoly Kuragin. She told Natasha that dying Prince Andrei Bolkonsky was in the same train of vehicles, and Natasha then had a chance to see him, care for him, manifest her love for the prince, and finally to make peace with him. Sonia loves the whole family of the Rostovs so much. She's so grateful to God. She's so grateful to them. Sonia always thinks that it is her moral duty to serve this family, to protect this family, even to sacrifice her own happiness for the Rostovs. And now, when Natasha is a happy married woman, she thinks she has the right to call Sonia a sterile flower. Why? Only because Sonia is devoted to Nikolai Rostov, but she couldn't become his wife and have children because she is impoverished. Sonia doesn't blame anyone. She's a humble and loving person. And Natasha, being settled now in her matrimonial status, dares to call Sonia a sterile flower. But we should thank Leo Tolstoy for giving us so natural, complex, and conflicted characters. His Natasha Rostova, Sonia, Princess Mary Bolkonskaya are bright representatives of Russian women in world literature, who amaze and inspire readers.